Next thing we want to take a look at is assembly in context modeling. And what we're talking about here is being able to create a contour flange in the context of the assembly, picking up edges from the background parts. Let's take a look at that. So you want to browse to the same thing. We're looking at assembly in context modeling, and the second example is the O2-contour flange or C flange folder. I'm just going to pick up that assembly, open him up, and now this you'll recognize from the master mover. And basically what I want to do is just build a cover that goes around this battery box. We're going to do that again using the contour flange. So let's do that. So let's create a new part in place. I'm going to use the default options. We're going to set it to sheet metal, and let's make it out of steel. Also ground it. And let's just call this cover. And so what you'll see is we're in the synchronous node, which is this is a synchronous command. And so what you'll notice is on the home tab here, you see that the contour flange command is active. In the past, that would have been grayed out until we had a sketch. Now we can select the command and we can lock to a plane. And I'm going to lock onto this YZ plane. And so what that means is that every edge that we select from those background parts, that edge is going to be projected onto that plane for the profile of the contour flange. So in other words, if I pick up this bottom edge and I have it set to chain, you can see it's chained the rounds as well as the bottom edge. It's automatically projected. I'm going to change it now to single, and as I continue to pick edges, you can see that those edges are continued to be projected. And I basically just want to walk around the part. I want to go all the way to the top, but I also want it to wrap around the top edge. So I'm going to pick up this edge, and notice that I can pick edges from multiple parts. As long as it makes a continuous set of edges for the profile, it will work. I want to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to pick up the round, this edge, this bend, or this round I should say, and these two edges. So that way it'll be symmetric. And notice I'm already in the contour flange command, so all I have to do is start selecting a direction, start dragging the contour flange. In this case, I'm going to hit the shift key. I want to go in both directions. What I notice is the background parts are bleeding through the edge here, which means that really the material is being forced to the inside, and I want it forced to the outside, so I just need to pick the arrow here to force it to the other side. Now we're forcing the material outside, and I just want to completely cover that battery housing. I'm going to do a secondary operation to make it match that background. I'm going to do that using the project to sketch command. And I basically just want to project these edges onto that surface so that I can use those edges to cut away the material I don't want. Alright, so once I have those projected, I can use that then using the cut command. Using the open option, I can pick up that sketch, change the direction, and cut through the part. Run it one more time. Cutting through the part. There we go. So there you can see we use that contour flange to create that in the context of the assembly using the background parts. Now, one thing I mentioned in the slides is that you may have to do some secondary operations. First of all, let me just extend this flange in, and because it's symmetric about the base coordinate system, of course our design intent kicks in, brings in both flanges. And now let's take a look at that secondary operation. If I go to a right view here and I zoom up, the issue that I have now is that the bend is actually interfering with that background part, that corner. And so I'll either need to cut away or chamfer something on the sheet metal, which you can't really chamfer sheet metal in Solid Edge, but you can take this face and raise it up. We'll just raise it up the bend value of 1 millimeter. to get rid of that interference. And now it's good. And so there you saw building the contour flange in the context of an assembly.